So, it looks like the DCEU is finally off, and Superman has probably just come out. And I'm not gonna lie, I am so excited for this. James Gunn has to be one of my favorite directors when it comes to superheroes. I love the visuals, I love the storytelling. He is bar for just about every single film he's made. And as we'll get into this in my later videos on this, he has made one of my favorite superhero movies already in terms of DC. But before this, I want to do a retrospective of the DCEU. And because I just have a lot of feelings about this, I know I already covered some of the later movies on the channel already, but this is just kind of just a recap of what was, before this new DCU truly kicks off. I have a lot of nostalgia for it because I was there from the very beginning up until the very end. And as we go piece by piece, I'll, give you how I felt during that time and just how I feel now. And, just have a good time. We're probably going to get a little bit mad. We're probably just going to, we're going to get a lot of feelings out of this. I'll just say that. And nothing better than kicking it off with Man of Steel.
What we want to do is just try and figure out a way to make him relevant, make him modern, make it cool.
Wrong!
Now, for some context, with Man of Steel here, Superman, in my opinion, is the greatest superhero of all time. He isn't my favorite hero. He's top 3 next to Batman and Spider-Man. But in general, the reason why I love Superman so much is because I see him as a symbol of hope, of truth and justice. And I feel during this time, 2013, because remember, this was riding off the wave of, stuff like The Dark Knight and Iron Man, which gave more kind of a gritty, just realistic sense to superheroes. And you could really tell that the Dark Knight influences were really infused with stuff like this time. And this fell victim with Zack Snyder because this, I'm not gonna lie, he is the worst in terms of doing this for Superman. Because I feel with Zack Snyder, he can direct, he has some really good shots, but I feel when it comes to superheroes, he doesn't really I don't think he likes them, or at least in the way that is appropriate to characters like Superman. Because whenever he takes characters like Superman, he doesn't see the joy, the hope, and kind of the corny optimism, but he just sees this gritty realism to make things super edgy. And I'm not saying this movie's edgy or anything, but you could definitely tell that he wants to get away from the whole Boy Scout thing with Superman, because I think he even said in interviews he wants to make Superman for the modern day whenever he was making Man of Steel. And in my personal opinion, Superman can work in any time. It's not he's a dated character. I mean, yeah, sure, he may be dated in terms of ideals, because he's all about hope and optimism, and that might be lost in the modern day. But I think he's a great character to represent what we should inspire to be, and what we could be better as human beings in general. But like I said, with this, his direction, it's so dimly lit and it's so great, it feels almost depressing. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that this movie doesn't have great shots. I think Superman flying is amazing. It looks fantastic. And the fight scenes, while a little bit, iffy at the end, are pretty cool. But we'll get to that obvious problem later. And along with the direction, the costumes and alien designs, I'm sorry to say this, but they're awful. They're absolutely terrible. All of Zod's, alien ships and costumes, they look like shit. I'm sorry, they look awful. They honestly look like they would blend in with the Decepticons from Dark of the Moon.
Why did you...
Just gray metals. It's honestly an eyesore. And along with that is Superman's suit. It's awful in every way. I'm sorry, because I hate to say this, but with Superman, the very important part of Superman's character is the suit. And one thing I don't like is the fact that it's an alien suit and it's not made by Ma Kent and his family from Kansas. And along with that, most importantly, his trunks are missing. And I think that also is a very pivotal part to Superman, because I'm sorry, but Superman without his trunks just doesn't feel right. Because as I said before, people, say it's like, dorky and cheesy. And to that I say, yeah, it is. It's a part of Superman's character. Superman is a kind-hearted, loving soul, and he's supposed to be non-threatening. And that's kind of what I want out of Superman. Superman is a Boy Scout with a heart of gold. Like in this movie, though, he's not. Like, the costume itself represents who he is in these movies. Just this emotionless god who just doesn't have any character. And it just doesn't work on many levels. And I will say this, I don't put any blame on Henry Cavill, because he looks the part. He just isn't directed well. He's directed very flat, to where there's no real emotion from him. And I'm not gonna lie, it's killing what could have been a good performance, because there are parts of this that do shine as Superman at points.
How do we know you won't one day act against America's interests?
I grew up in Kansas, General. About as American as it gets.
Like, not enough to save the movie, but because the story itself it's not doing it any favors, because he dons the suit and becomes Superman at the very end, and then we just get straight to the final battle, which is just massive destruction and chaos. Like, it would really help if this movie had a montage of Superman, like, stopping bad guys, or saving cats from trees, just showing, the public that Superman is like this, like, kind-hearted person, And I don't think I need to tell you why Superman killing Zod at the end of this is so out of character. At this point, he should just be called Bizarro. Like, Zack, my boy, buddy, I get it. You're wanting to show how Superman is, like, choosing humanity over, like, his Kryptonian race, snapping his neck, like, like, be so fucking real. Like, if he's able to, like, snap his neck, I think he could, like, like, push him off to the side, or, like, something. Like, he didn't need to kill him. Like, come on, man. And I will say this on the subject here, I really do like General Zod. I feel like he's, like, the only one that's, like, alive in this movie. I do like how he is, like, his whole plan and his, like, character motivation of, like, wanting to save Krypton, and he's, like, willing to kill the Earth. It's not, like, that complicated, but I think just for something like this, I think it's, it's kind of compelling. It's pretty decent. I think it's good for Superman to have, like, this, like, choice between saving, his family on Earth, or his family, from Krypton. It's pretty good stuff. Other characters in this movie, I'm not gonna lie, they kind of range from mid to terrible. Lois Lane, for example, has, like, no personality. She just does reporter stuff, and I just wish Clark and Lois interacted more, because I really feel like that would have, like, worked better for the movie's favor, because, like, Superman doesn't have, like, a personality in this, and whenever he is with Lois, they actually do kind of have good chemistry between each other, but there's just no time in the movie for that to actually happen. Like, I think one of the fundamental things you need to do is make Superman work as a character. Like, you could have a mid-movie. Like, you could have, like, a very mediocre script, but as long as you make Superman work, I'm already hooked. Because, in my mind, the textbook for DC for me is Justice League Unlimited, the whole DCEU. And if you get just that right, to me, I'll be happy. In this is going off scripture. This is not reading the textbook of how to do superheroes. This is just a really bad start to a universe like this, because I'm sorry, but if I can't believe a man can fly, then the universe will not soar itself. And it's so bad because, like, back in the day, because like I said, I saw this in theaters in 2013. I actually do remember I saw this at a drive-in movie theater, and it was a double feature for Despicable Me 2. I fell asleep during Man of Steel. This is like a 5 out of 10. Let's get to the real shit show.
What was I supposed to do? Just let him die?
Maybe.
So, the year is 2016, and I'm not gonna lie, even in like this is what I'm talking about, how like the DCEU is literal scripture. It is like the Bible to me for DC. Even in his dreams, you just see Superman just destroying, like laying waste to Metropolis. Like it's like, come on, at some point, like, come on. Time Batman is being grumpy about Superman for being this all-powerful human being. And the crazy part is, I love the idea of this like 20-year-old cape crusading Batman that sends it to Wonder Woman, and I love how each of the files have the characters' iconic logos on them. Like, oh my god, that's just amazing in this movie. And also, I love how this isn't even Batman's movie and he's still out of character in this. I love how Deadshot he's with his daughter, the Batman, in an alleyway, being mind you, like an alleyway similar to the one where he lost his parents. Batman just shows up, kicks Deadshot's ass in front of his daughter. Like, oh my god, this isn't even Batman at this point. And also, I'm just gonna get on a deeper point here. I love how Batman kills, which I'll get to later, and you're Croc alive. Like, what? But yeah, with Deadshot, he's like the main character next to Margot Robbie. And I can't take this serious at all, because in my mind, Will Smith will always be the Fresh Prince. And I feel like he just never works as like this like hardcore criminal in my eyes. And I love how in this, how I said how each of these characters have like these like funny 2-minute intros. Like in the Little played fabulously in this movie, she goes like, what if Superman was evil? Because we haven't done that before. And she was like, I got just the team for you. Introducing the Suicide Squad. One of our members is Enchantress, a witch, and she went rogue. And she also has it really shows. It's not even like funny bad. It's just bad. This is like a 1 out of 10. This is just awful.
So that's it. What, we some kind of...
Okay, here we have an actually good movie. Like, actually. The year's 2017 rated. It's like one of the best superhero, fight scenes of all time. Like, something I could always give DC, like even during that time, is I feel like DC has better action and direction than most Marvel movies. Ended up in fumes because, admittedly, looking back at this, because I can't lie about this, these movies, while bad, actually made money. Like, seriously, like even Suicide Squad made money, but this one didn't at all. I think he's horrible. I think he's a horrible guy. I think he's like low-key kind of racist, and the way he uses women in his movies, oh my god. I seriously love how he did the same bit twice. How did you do the same bit twice? Like, at this point, it's not even subtle. Like, buddy, come on.
Sorry.
Don't turn green.
This is so bad. Like, actually. First off, the CGI is so ass. Like, you guys all know about the CGI mustache, but wow, it is just bad the whole way throughout. Like, the final battle is, I think, one of the most CGI abominations in my entire life. Like, not even joking, like, actually. Steppenwolf and Cyborg especially are the worst of it. They're just CGI pixels of trash, honestly. I don't even care about the characters to even mention in this. They're just MCU quip machines, especially the Flash. He is so annoying in this.
Like brunch. Like, what is brunch? You wait in line for an hour for essentially lunch.
So I guess to address the plot here, even if there barely is a plot, after BVS, Bruce and Diana, they go build the Justice League, and they stop Steppenwolf with his mother boxes, and along with that, they also resurrect Superman, because who would have guessed? This is honestly an embarrassment of a film. The only redeeming qualities I will say is Aquaman. He's actually pretty cool. I love how this was during the time of whenever they try to make Aquaman this like cool badass guy. Look at him, he's shirtless with tattoos, he drinks, he's this super cool badass dude. Yeah, I think it's pretty funny about this movie. It's just kind of hilarious. I love how there's like nothing really. This movie was honestly kind of ruined here. I could at least admit there was a vision, there was something, and I feel so bad because there's nothing here. There is something here, but it's just squandered due to just bad direction and just no clue for how these characters are treated, honestly. And that's really about it for part one. The DCEU in general during this era was just ruined from the jump. I'm sorry. If you're a Snyder fan that like loves these films, I genuinely want to know why, because I just don't see it. I really don't, and I'm sorry I don't see what you see, I guess. Get ready for part two, because I will say, with part two of the downfall of the DCEU, I like the fact that we actually get some vision here, because not in terms of like vision for direction of, you know, the DC at large, but I like the fact that they actually try to be bold and they just say, screw it, let's just put anything at the wall and just see what sticks. And honestly, at that point, at DC's run, I was honestly fine with it at that point. But yeah, that's really about it. Tell me what you think, if I was like too harsh to these movies and all that. Oh yeah, also Justice League gets a 2 out of 10. This movie sucks.
Ride ain't over yet.